She faked a pregnancy to keep me, so I faked a proposal to let everyone know who she really was. Hi everyone, my name's Aaron. I'm 27, currently a freelance web designer living in Portland. I'm not flashy, I'm not the center of the party guy, but I've always been loyal. The one who brings the snacks to game night, remembers birthdays, offers to help friends move even when I shouldn't. I tell you this because for a long time I thought loyalty was enough to build a relationship. Then I met Jenna. She was smart, quick-witted, the kind of girl who could absolutely destroy you in a debate and then smile sweetly like she just offered you a cookie. She worked in communications for a local nonprofit and had this whole I'm emotionally intelligent but slightly chaotic energy that felt exciting, new, addicting, if I'm being honest. We met at a friend's engagement party. Within 2 weeks, we were inseparable. Within 3 months, she practically lived at my place. Looking back, I miss the early flags. The way she always needed to be right. The way she tested me, small manipulations disguised as jokes. How she never really had any long-term friends, just people she rotated through depending on what she needed. But I ignored it. Because she told me she loved me. Because she said I made her feel safe, and I wanted it to be true. We dated for 1.5 years. Things got rocky around month 10. I got a major client and had to pull longer hours. Jenna said I was emotionally absent, that she felt me drifting. We talked, we argued, we patched things up over and over again, but it was like filling a bucket with a hole in the bottom. Still, I stayed, because that's what loyal people do, right? Then, one Sunday morning, she dropped the bomb. We were on the couch, still in sweats, sipping bad coffee and watching reruns. She turned to me, serious eyes, trembling hands, and said, "I think I'm pregnant." I blinked. She repeated it. Tears welled up in her eyes. I froze. Not because I didn't want kids, but because I knew we weren't in a place where this made sense. We were struggling to keep our own relationship afloat. How were we supposed to raise a child? But I did what I always do. I tried to do the right thing. I held her. Told her we'd figure it out together. Asked if she'd taken a test. She said yes. 2, in fact. Positive. I asked if she still had them. She said she threw them out. Didn't want to look at them. Too emotional. Okay, I told her to make an appointment. She said she would. In a few days. Just needed time to process. Over the next few weeks, everything changed. She became affectionate again. Smiling. Software. She'd put my hand on her belly and whisper, "You're gonna be such a good dad." She started posting more us content, hinting at big changes on Instagram. Friends messaged me congratulations, even though we hadn't announced anything. I was nervous, but a part of me started to believe this was our turning point, that maybe this would finally make things solid, but something didn't feel right. Her symptoms were inconsistent. One day she was nauseous, the next she was pounding cold brew like it was water. She never mentioned going to a doctor. Every time I brought it up, she changed the subject or got defensive. One night, I found myself alone on the couch while she ran errands, and I opened her laptop. I didn't plan to. I swear I didn't. But it was already open, and something in me, call it intuition, just took over. The browser history told me everything. No doctor appointments, no pregnancy forms, but plenty of Google searches like how to fake pregnancy symptoms. How long can you fake being pregnant? What happens if you lie about being pregnant to your boyfriend? I remember just staring at the screen. Everything inside me went quiet. I didn't confront her that night. I didn't confront her the next day either, because something inside me snapped. Not in rage, but in clarity. I wasn't going to argue. I wasn't going to beg for the truth. I was going to let her dig the hole herself. And when the time was right, I was going to bury the lie. After the night, something inside me shut off. It's hard to explain if you've never experienced it, that moment where the emotional cord snaps. It's not rage, it's not grief, it's a cold, calm detachment. Like your heart gives up before your brain catches on. I watched Jenna like someone watching a stranger pretend to be familiar. She'd kiss me in the morning, call me babe, ask what baby names I liked. I'd smile, respond. But behind my eyes, I was already gone. I didn't sleep much those days, not because of stress, but because of strategy. Every word she said I remembered. Every time she got emotional or whispered how she couldn't wait for me to hold her child, I filed it away. Before the baby comes, small ceremony, backyard, friends only. I asked her gently, would you want something more formal? You deserve the whole thing. She smiled, and that smile was the final nail in the coffin, because I'd seen it before. It was the same grin she used when she manipulated coworkers, convinced a landlord to waive late fees, or got a stranger to pay for her drink by accidentally leaving her wallet. That smile was never about love. It was about control. And I knew then she wanted the ring. She wanted the social media moment. She wanted the narrative. And the baby lie, that was just leverage. So I gave her what she wanted. It started slowly. I dropped hints. Told her I'd been thinking about forever. That I wanted to do this right. That maybe the baby was a sign we were meant to take the next step. She lit up. You'd think I handed her a check for $1 million. She started leaving wedding Pinterest tabs open on my computer. She started sending photos of rings, not even subtle. She told her friends, he's getting close with a wink. She had no idea she was walking straight into a trap. I played the role of the loving boyfriend perfectly. We went ring shopping just to see. We had lunch with her mom, who already believed we were expecting. We even toured a few venues. Every time I smiled. Every time I leaned in, kissed her cheek, said, soon. I wasn't rushing. I was marinating the lie in her own performance. Then came the baby shower suggestion. She wanted to host something small, just close friends. A pre-reveal. She said she wanted to feel surrounded by love. I suggested we make it special, combine it with a proposal. I told her, let's make it a moment no one forgets. Her eyes went glassy with excitement. She texted friends, called family, booked the backyard of her cousin's house. I told her I wanted to take care of everything. Food, decor, photographer. She was thrilled. She had no idea. The days leading up to the party were hard. Not because I doubted my decision. I didn't. But because the performance started to wear on me. Sleeping next to her, watching her scroll through nursery photos, listening to her hum lullabies like she was the protagonist in some Lifetime movie. It made my skin crawl, but I stayed calm, focused. I printed out screenshots of her search history, every damning phrase. I contacted a friend who worked in video production, told him I needed help setting up a surprise projection. I ordered fake ring boxes, empty, and then I prepared the speech. Not the one she thought I'd give, the one she'd never forget. The morning of the party, I stood in front of the mirror and tried to recognize the man staring back. Button-up shirt, blazer, fresh haircut, smile practiced, posture composed. I looked like a man ready to ask the love of his life to marry him. But under the surface, I was a bomb with a timer. The day was warm, late spring. That perfect blend of sunlight and breeze that makes everything feel cinematic. The backyard was decorated in soft golds and greens, her favorite palette. String lights, eucalyptus, mason jars with floating candles. Pinterest perfect. She wanted it to feel like the beginning of a new chapter. It was, just not the one she expected. I arrived early under the pretense of helping set up. Jenna had been texting me all morning. Can you believe today's the day? I'm so happy right now. You're everything I ever wanted. No matter what happens, I'll never forget this. Neither will I. Guests started arriving around 2. Friends, coworkers, a couple of extended family members. Jenna floated around in a flowing cream dress, glowing like she was already someone's wife. She hugged people, posed for selfies, rested her hand subtly over her belly. the same belly that held nothing but nerve. Her cousin pulled me aside at one point and whispered, "Dude, she's never been this happy. You really turned her life around." I smiled. I hope so. My friend Jack was handling the proposal setup. He blended in easily, carried a camera, wore a guest badge. Everyone assumed he was just the photographer. In reality, he had the laptop, the HDMI cable, and the 60-inch screen we mounted behind the garden arch, covered in white fabric, like it was waiting for a slideshow of baby photos. Jenna kept glancing at it and smiling like she was about to be the star of her own love story. She was, just not in the way she thought. By 4:30, the air was thick with warmth and laughter. Plastic champagne glasses clinked. People took pictures under a floral arch. Someone brought a homemade cake that said, "Can't wait to meet you, little one," in pink frosting. Jenna stayed near me the entire time, radiating anticipation. Her eyes never left my hands. She kept expecting the moment, and I made her wait, because timing is everything. At 5 o'clock, I tapped my glass. The chatter stopped. Cameras came up. A collective awe spread across the backyard like perfume. I stood with her hand in mine. She squeezed it tightly, the way people do when they want to anchor themselves to the moment. I took a breath and began. "Hi, everyone. First, thank you all for coming. It means a lot to Jenna and me to have you here to celebrate this new chapter in our lives." Nods, smiles, phones recording. I know many of you have been with us from the beginning, through the highs and lows, and today I wanted to do something memorable, something honest. She looked up at me, eyes wide, blinking fast. I turned to her. "Jenna, you've always said you wanted a moment that was real. No filters, no edits, just truth." She smiled, started tearing up. Good. Which is why, before I ask the biggest question of my life, I want to show you something first. Jack nodded from the back. Lights dimmed slightly. The projector flicked on, and then the screen lit up with her search history. Google results, phrases, dates. How to fake pregnancy symptoms. Where to buy fake positive pregnancy tests. What if my boyfriend finds out I lied? The crowd went silent, utterly still. At first people thought it was a prank. One guest even laughed nervously. Then the screen shifted to screenshots from my laptop, time-stamped, dated, all taken from her browser. Then texts she sent to her friend about stalling him until the ring drops, calling me too nice to leave. Someone gasped. A woman covered her mouth. Jenna stood frozen, face pale, hands trembling. Her lips moved, but but no sound came out. I turned back to the crowd, calmly. This is the woman I was about to propose to, the mother of a child that never existed, and the reason I spent the last 3 months questioning my sanity. No one said a word. I looked at Jenna one last time. I loved you, even through the lies, but you didn't want a partner. You wanted a storyline, so I gave you one. I turned and walked away. I didn't look back. Let them comfort her. Let her explain. Let her drown in the silence she created. I didn't run. I walked through the gate, down the street, and around the corner like I was just leaving a friend's barbecue. Not a single person followed me. Not right away. The weight didn't hit until I got back to my car, hands trembling just enough to fumble the keys. Not out of guilt, not even relief. It was something quieter, like my nervous system hadn't caught up to the reality yet. The performance was over, but the silence afterward, that was a different kind of show. The fallout didn't take long. By the time I got home, not our apartment, but my friend Caleb's spare room where I'd been staying for 2 weeks in secret. My phone was vibrating nonstop. 17 missed calls from Jenna, 3 from her cousin, 2 from her mom, and a text that simply read, "How could you do this to me?" Funny choice of words, really. No, "I'm sorry." No, "Let me explain." Just immediate victimhood. She called 4 more times that night, left 2 voicemails I'll never delete. Not because I want to remember her, but because I want to remember how calm I stayed while she unraveled. In the first message, she screamed, said I humiliated her, that I ruined her life. In the second, she cried, said she did it all because she loved me, that she was scared of losing me, said she thought maybe she could get pregnant for real before I found out. Let that sink in. She planned to backfill the lie with biology. That message is why I didn't respond. Word got around fast. Her coworkers knew within a day. One of them, a mutual friend, messaged me saying, "Dude, you exposed a full Netflix series in one evening." People I barely knew started sending me DMs thanking me for standing up for myself. Some shared their own stories, lies, betrayal, manipulation. I hadn't expected that. I didn't post the video online. I didn't brag. But somehow, it got out. Her cousin filmed the last 5 minutes. Someone else posted a clip. It hit a local subreddit, then TikTok. Overnight, fake pregnancy proposal exposed became a mini viral moment. Blurry faces, subtitles, shock. Jenna turned into a cautionary tale. I didn't even have to say anything. Jenna tried to flip the narrative, posted a now deleted Instagram story saying I was controlling, manipulative, that I'd hacked her computer. She even suggested I'd fabricated the whole thing. Didn't work. Too many people had seen the footage. Too many had known something was off with her for too long. One of her ex-friends DM'd me. "You finally broke the spell for everyone else." And that's what it felt like. Like she'd walked through life wearing a mask of sweetness and sensitivity, and I was the first person who dared to peel it off in public. Not out of cruelty, out of survival. I blocked her number, changed mine a week later, closed our shared accounts, deleted every photo, email thread, playlist. She was gone from my life, digitally and physically, but not mentally, not yet. Because healing doesn't happen just because the villain leaves the room. It happens in the quiet, when you learn to stop replaying every moment wondering if you were the fool. And yeah, I did ask myself that. How could I not have known? But then I remember, I did know. I just didn't want to. There were signs, little ones at first, then louder. But I chose love over logic, chose to believe in a version of her she projected, not the one hiding underneath. That's on me. But what happened next? That's on her. Update. It's been 6 months since that day in the backyard. Feels longer, or maybe just heavier. Like the weight of everything I didn't say back then has finally lifted. And what's left is just quiet. Not the kind of silence you fear after heartbreak. The kind you earn after choosing peace over chaos. A lot of people messaged me asking how I'm doing. If I ever heard from her again. If I've started dating. If I regret it. So here's the honest version. Do I regret it? Not for a second. The moment I walked away, I thought maybe I'd feel cruel, vindictive. But I didn't, because the truth is, what I did wasn't revenge, it was release. She'd spent months weaving a narrative that made her look like a hero and me like a prize. But I was never in the story, I was just a prop. So no, I don't regret pulling the curtain back. I regret staying as long as I did. Did she ever reach out again? Yes. Once. A burner number. She sent a paragraph about rebuilding herself and forgiving both of us. Said she didn't blame me anymore. As if she was the one granting closure. I didn't respond. Not because I'm angry, but because I don't negotiate with ghosts. Am I dating again? Not seriously. I've gone on a few dates, grabbed a drink, had good conversation. But I'm not in a rush to hand my trust to someone just because they smile the right way. I'm rebuilding slowly, deliberately. Therapy helped. So did long walks, early mornings, cooking my own meals, and realizing I like who I am without someone clinging to me like a lifeline. I'm not jaded, just sharper now. More careful with the keys I give out. What's the biggest lesson I took from this? That love without honesty is just manipulation with good lighting. You can't build a life with someone who doesn't even know how to tell the truth to themselves, let alone to you. You can't save someone by letting them drown you, and no amount of loyalty will ever fix someone who sees you as leverage instead of love. To anyone who's ever been lied to so convincingly that you started doubting your own instincts, I see you. To the ones who stayed longer than they should have because they believed love meant sacrifice, I get it. But here's the truth. You don't owe someone your future just because they were afraid to face theirs. You deserve honesty, clarity, peace, and sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is not expose someone else, but finally choose to stop hiding from yourself. Thanks for listening. I'm out.